FanDuel to the rescue. Who would have seen this coming? This is America. If you're unaware of what's going on in Philadelphia currently, there is a public transportation budget cut that has affected the Philadelphia area. And I'm not going to get into the politics of the matter. I'm sure there are people that are going to be like, it's Republicans' fault, it's Democrats' fault. But honestly, it's both their fault. This is like when the NHL would have lockouts, and it's like, well, let's blame the owners, let's blame the players. Like, both of them not being able to come together in an agreement is what's the problem. And the fact that politicians have allowed the Septa problem to get to this point, that is really the issue, because it's embarrassing. It's an embarrassment for the state, and it's embarrassment for those running and getting paid way too much money to just squabble and bicker in the state's capital of Harrisburg. But the fact is that Septa has been essentially defunded. They had to cut a bunch of bus routes and lines, and one of those lines being the transportation that would allow people to get to and from the stadium, because when a game would go on, Septa would boost up traffic in regards to their trains. It makes sense, right? You've got 40,000 people heading to a game. You figure half of those people might take public transportation. Let's get more frequent trains from the Broad Street line to take people to and from and get them out of there quickly and safely. Makes sense. Well, with these budget cuts, Septa was going to be forced to act like the game wasn't going on, and it was just a normal Wednesday with nothing going on down in South Philly, and obviously that would make getting to and from a game an absolute living nightmare. Until FanDuel came in, the last minute, and by last minute I mean today, Wednesday, they came in and said, you know what? We've taken so much money from you people. We've taken so much. We're actually going to fund it. You know what? We're going to fund Septa for you guys. So if you want to get to and from the game quickly, we got you. Just use promo code SEPTA. Good on them. I mean, this is a marketing no-brainer for me. That a sports book stepped in, they get the good publicity, they get the pat on the back, the that a boy, by not just people going to the game, but people like me who aren't going to go to the game. I'm sitting at home. I'm watching it on my couch. Might even live stream it on this channel. But it's a good marketing gimmick by them, but it's still an embarrassment that a sports book had to step in because politicians couldn't get their shit together. Because people in Pennsylvania want to stick it to people in Philadelphia. So by golly, we're not funding your shit. Like, that's ridiculous. And yet here we are. Because this is what it's come to. That a sports book had to step in and say, hey, so it's not going to be an utter disaster down there? We, FanDuel, will step in and we will fund it for a day. Now, I don't know what happens in week 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, but this has been a problem not just with the city. I'm sorry, not just with this week, but with the city as a whole. Because I think we like to look at Philadelphia as being a very, very tough city. There's a buck. I think I got it. We look at Philadelphia as a very, very tough city in terms of getting to and from the stadium. And that's because it is. But it shouldn't be. I mean, when you really think about it, there are plenty of side streets, there are plenty of roads, there are plenty of exits. You can get on 95, you can get on 76, to and from. Like, the bridge is right there. You can go down past the Novacare complex and hop on 76 that way. Like, there are so many exits that you can take to get in and out of that stadium. And yet, we make it as difficult as humanly possible for people to get out of the stadium. And I do not understand it. I do not understand how the city, how Cheryl Parker, hey, use some of that money that you get paid, your paycheck that you reminded everybody about during the sanitation strike. Use some of that. Use some city funding. Take it out of your own pocket. I don't care what you do. But hire some 20-year-old from MIT, some engineer, to figure out a good way to get people in and out of the stadium. I'll tell you a quick story that you didn't ask for. But we had to do the pregame show for 97.5 The Fanatic down at Xfinity Live. And we had to do that all season long. And getting down there was a nightmare, as you can imagine. But we were getting down there at a point where, it was like 3 hours before the game, so it wasn't too bad, but it still wasn't fun getting down there. You got into a rhythm of how you were going to get to the parking lot where we parked to get to the pregame show. But you got into a routine with it where, like, okay, I'm turning here, I know what time, I know about, around the traffic because, by the playoffs, like it was like, okay, this is set. I've been doing this for every home game at this point. The NFC Championship game, that's when they decided to change it all up. That's when they decided, you know what? That thing that you've been doing all season long and you've gotten used to, no. We're going to make it go all the way down and a wrapper. And I'm like, what in the world are you dipshits thinking? But that is how the city runs things. It doesn't have to be that way. New England, if you want to go to a Patriots game, it's literally one road in and one road out. That's a nightmare. Philadelphia has all these options, all these streets. And then you've got Septa as well. And then you've got the Ubers and the ride shares. And yet we make it difficult. Look, credit to FanDuel for stepping in. And I'm sure next week the sports books might be fighting amongst themselves to step in again to get this good publicity. But it's an embarrassment that it's gotten this far. And the parking situation and the driving situation, getting to and from a stadium, has been an embarrassment for far too long. I am pleading with the city officials. Just hire some engineer from MIT. He will figure it out in a day on how to quickly and adequately get people in and out of the stadium so you're not sitting there waiting an hour plus to simply get out of a parking lot. And that is what happens. That is an issue. It's not that difficult. But yet Cheryl Parker wants to get on a microphone and, remind everybody that she didn't take a raise. Yeah. If you can't tell, I don't really think highly of her. Once again, though, I'm not going to get into politics. Because I'll end up getting called a lip cuck soy boy, which is accurate, by the way. Subscribe, that'd be cool. Subscribe and like. I need subscribers. You guys know that at this point. But obviously, we're one day away from the Eagles. I don't know when you guys watch this, but right now we're one day away. And I will finish it with a very hearty, Go Birds!